This video, I want to talk about the power and the importance of improving your communication skills. We think that just because we can speak a certain language or because we can speak like this, that we are good at communicating, when in fact, that is farthest from the truth, further from the truth. Communication doesn't mean that you need to be good at your grammar or be good at how you pronounce things, but communication really means how do you talk when things like conflict arise within relationships and partnership? How do you alleviate tension in a situation? What words are you saying? What is triggering you within, the conversations that you have that may be uncomfortable or make you feel insecure? That is the art and skill of communication. And I've had to learn this myself. We all come as children in this world. We all come as students in this world. So we are not here as full masters of communication. We don't have PhDs on all the things that we've learned. We have to learn that within ourselves and within how we also improve ourselves. Why am I speaking about this topic? I think I'm speaking about it because it's in relation to our identity, how we speak to ourselves, how we speak to the world, and how we communicate perceptions and ideas across from each other. I'm also speaking from this because I've been deeply disappointed by how people communicate in relationships. I've seen how people ruined relationships because they don't know how to communicate. They cannot express when they like somebody, they cannot express when they want to apologize, they cannot express their deepest insecurity. And it's not to say share everything on the internet or share everything with somebody, but it's to discuss certain things and to express that this has a limit, this has a boundary, this cannot be shared right now. I'm not in the mood to discuss this right now. That is the art of how we communicate so that people can navigate what is happening, within the relationship and partnership. I also realize that sometimes when you have bad communication skills, you often lose really good moments of understanding one another, creating intimacy, creating emotional maturity. And I really come here because I had to also learn all of these things. It's not to say I'm perfect. I also realize my own shortcomings with communication. And I think we as people really need to discuss this openly because everything that is around us is to deal with communication. We talk over the phone, we watch movies, we read, we listen, we engage, we socialize, we go into business meetings, we go into interviews, and a lot of our livelihood is to deal with communication. And yet, somehow, some of us, and most of us, and a lot of people don't know how to communicate effectively, responsibly, honestly. There's no real. It's like money. People cannot teach you how to use money, and yet money is your everyday asset of what you need and how you use it and what you get out of it, right? It's the same with communication. And yeah, I think this is very important to discuss. How do you improve your communication skills when you're in a very intense situation, when you're in an altercation with somebody, when you're in a place where you don't want to talk at all, when you're in a moody place? I have those days myself where I just don't want to talk. And it's not to say that I lack communication, it's to say that this is not the right time to communicate because triggers and figures and results may vary. So we really need to talk about how do we navigate these intense moments of our lives where communication may be a barrier, especially in relationships where we are fighting with people and we cannot address why we don't like somebody and yet we pretend like we do. There's so many subtle ways where we hide behind a narrative or a false way of speaking, but that is not what we're trying to say. Sometimes we also very passive in how we really want to bring something that is so serious across, or vague communication, passive communication. Those are the things I'm talking about here. And why is this important to me? I realize that, with all the informations that we are given, it's very, very important, or it's very it's very quick how to realize that we're not all learning the same way. We're all not engaging with the communication and community the same way. And sometimes the most honest information can be seen as toxic. It can be seen as insecurity. It can be seen as something that is so far-fetched from reality. So, how do we bridge the gap of really having effective, clear communication through all channels in life, whether it's uncomfortable, whether it's fun, whether it's through love, through hate, through speech, through learning each other, through differences? How do we still learn to speak from a point of um, responsibility as well, knowing that our words create realities and that our words do hurt. There was a saying called sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. And I don't think that is true. Words really hurt. So imagine saying something at the wrong time and hurting somebody through communication. How do we speak about these aspects, and um, how do we communicate in difficult times? And I will leave this with you because I really find this interesting. And I want to just ask you guys, how do you communicate and how do you improve your communication skills? And I'll see you in the next video. Ciao.